Am I in the wrong for telling my dad I'm glad he's dying of cancer after his wife convinced him to disown me for being gay? When my mother passed away, it was just me and my father for years. We had our routine, weekend hikes, late-night talks, and tinkering in the shed, where he taught me how to fix things they never teach you in school. Despite everything, I cherished those moments. I got to see my father for who he truly was before he met Emma, the woman who would turn our lives upside down. A few months before my 16th birthday, my father introduced me to Emma. From the start, she was distant. She said hello, but then spent the entire evening engrossed in conversation with my dad, ignoring me completely. My father tried to involve me, reminding her that this was about us getting to know each other, but she barely acknowledged it. When he mentioned the model airplane we were building together, she quickly changed the subject to a restaurant she wanted to try with him. A week later, my dad asked if I wanted to go out with him and Emma to try and bond. I agreed, for his sake. We went to a museum and then out to eat. I tried to engage her in conversation, asked her about her job, her hobbies, but she barely responded. My father noticed and tried to get her to open up, but it was clear she just didn't want to know me. 3 months after I met her, my father told me he proposed to Emma. I was stunned. I told him how she made no effort to connect with me, and I couldn't understand why he would want to marry someone who clearly didn't like me. He insisted that she would warm up to me, and said she claimed I was the one not trying. It hurt to hear that, because I had tried, but she had shut me out from the beginning. After they got married, Emma moved in, and the house I grew up in no longer felt like home. I spent most of my time in my room, avoiding her. My father, who had once been my closest ally, now seemed distant, consumed by his new life with her. On my 17th birthday, my father and I went for a walk in the park, the same park where I had so many memories with my mother. I came out to him that day. He was supportive, told me he loved me, and that nothing had changed between us. I asked him not to tell Emma, knowing her religious views would only cause trouble. He agreed, and for a while, things were good again. We even finished the model airplane together. But then I met someone, a boy from school, and I wanted my father to meet him. When we all sat down for dinner, Emma was there, of course, and the night was a disaster. She made snide remarks about how I was just confused and how I'd grow out of it. My father said nothing. He tried to comfort me with a smile, but it wasn't enough. I knew he was choosing her over me. The next day, Emma cornered me and told me she didn't want my boyfriend in her house again. I reminded her that it was my house first, my mother's house, and she was just a guest. But her influence over my father was strong. He became even more distant, and we started fighting constantly. The man who once supported me unconditionally now sided with her, telling me that I was living a life of sin. When I turned 18, things finally exploded. Emma told me I was going to hell, and my father, once again, agreed with her. I called him a coward and told him he was a disgrace to my mother's memory. He told me I was no longer his son and ordered me to leave. So I did. I lived in my car for a while, dropping out of school and scraping by however I could. I eventually moved to a different state, got a job at a small repair shop, and slowly rebuilt my life. Now, at 24, I have a small circle of friends and a boyfriend who loves me. I'm not rich or wildly successful, but I'm content. Last week, out of the blue, I received a message on social media. It was my father. He told me he had been trying to find me for years and that he had divorced Emma. He said he was sick, cancer, but it wasn't terminal. He wanted to reconnect, to make amends before it was too late. He apologized for everything and said he regretted ever letting Emma come between us. I read his message, feeling nothing but a cold emptiness. I thought about everything I had been through since that day he chose her over me. I typed out a reply, "You chose her over me, Dad. You let her drive me away, and I was just a kid. You let me suffer, let me lose everything, while you played house with her. Now you want to reconnect because you're sick? I don't care. I survived without you, and I don't need you now. If you die, the next time I'll hear about you is from someone else. Don't contact me again." I hit send and blocked him. My boyfriend says I could have been kinder, but my friends think I was too soft. I don't know what to think. I don't feel good about it, but I couldn't hold back. Maybe someday I'll regret it, but for now, I just want to move on with my life.